send me some sorry lines, but passion undying, that the oceans can't subside. The storm blew from behind.
Hi, my name is Penny Jo Couch. This is the end of a long day of classes at the Orlando Clay Fandango. And I'm here to give a little demonstration of using oil pencils on polymer clay.
All right.
This is an example of the work that can be done with oil pencils on polymer clay. You can draw on it with a pencil, or you can actually use a rubber stamp. And one of the things I like to do is use rubber stamps. I start with a drawing of a person. This is a photo of my daughter. And I like to do this kind of work because I like to have elegant Victorian looking items. So I make a drawing, and then I use photopolymer resin and I make my own stamps. When you use photopolymer resin, it makes a clear stamp, and a clear stamp cannot be used with solvent ink. And yet many inks will not stick to polymer clay. So I've learned about this new brand of ink called Palette Hybrid, and they come in a package of 4, and it's you can pick a expressionist artist palette, and this is the one that I've chosen because it has browns and oranges. Today I'm using the ink pad that is burnt sienna, and the burnt sienna ink, this pad can be left open. It doesn't require a lot of quick closing, so as you're working with polymer clay and ink, you can actually have time to work. I'm going to ink the stamp, and I like to do it, just pat it like this. There's no back on this stamp, and it's soft. And for myself, it's easier to line it up horizontally to my hand, to my eyes. So I lay it down, I kind of eyeball where it'll go on this piece of polymer clay that I have baked. It's baked. And I hold it in place while I gently pat the outer edges and then lift it off. And it leaves an image like this.
Nice.
This image will dry in maybe 20 minutes, and it's ready to use. And I've made one already.
And you used your cabochon mold to make that actual shape.
Yes, I did. I used this cabochon mold. It's called Dominoes and More. And this is the cabochon. It is a 30 by 40 millimeter cabochon and fits a standard jewelry setting. Thank you. I begin by choosing my colors. If you're starting to do colors as an artist, the colors that I use are the walnut hollow oil pencils, and the reason I use the oil pencil is that it's more soft and it goes onto the polymer clay better and has a nice yummy feeling. The other one I use is called the Lyra brand, and this is the Rembrandt Polycolor. Okay, the Polycolor is also an oil-based pencil, and it goes onto the polymer clay more quickly and easily. And so I pick a palette by coloring little blocks of it and identifying which pencils I want to use. And for a portrait, I would use some of the colors that I show here. You can do more than portraits. You can do plants, for example. I just free-handed this little tulip just for fun to test the new pencils. It's not finished, but the colors became more brilliant as they're applied. When you're doing portraiture, a lot of people are nervous about portraits, but because they think there's something complicated about it. But if you'll think about a portrait for a moment, it's just another kind of landscape. Everything is darks and lights and that sort of thing. So when you're going to do this kind of work, you would start with your dark color, which would be this is the Burnt Umber Walnut Hollow pencil, or you could use the dark sepia Lifer pencil. You'll notice there's very few lines here, and what I'll do is I'll take this illustration and I will actually put the lines in that are missing. The reason you do that is that lines become very harsh, but if you draw them in, they're a little nicer. In every human, the eyes are the darkest part of the deepest shadows. So I begin by putting the deep colors down in here, over the eye, like this, and then very gently draw in the nostrils and the rounded part of the nose. You're going to draw very lightly when you start, and if the outlines are too light, you can also beef them up. So in order to give it life, I always start with the eyes after I get my line work in. And I put the pupil in using a black pencil. And for this one I've chosen a blue eye. And once the black pencil's there, you can just take the blue and color right over the pupil, and the blue will go right on. And I'll come back again with the dark colors, dark brown, and shade, and see how it just starts to come to life. I don't want a whole lot of dark in here, but I do need some darks. So I'll put them at the very outside. And I'm going to draw where her neck would go, like this. And I'll shade some darks back in here. To save some time, I've gone ahead and finished this amount of the shading. And you'll notice that I've put in the dark points here. This is the shadow under the lip. This model has very full lips. And these are the dark corners of the eyes. And then you would start with your browns. You'd put the dark colors away and pick up a color like terracotta. And this is a nice rich red brown. And we begin by coloring in around the eyes. We don't color the eyelids at all, but we do color the orb, and that is the roundness of the eye. The shading down the side of the nose, around here, and down like this. And we continue to lay these colors in. We bring in the cheekbones down like here, and we'll put in the dark shadows under the chin. Again, come to this side, bring the cheekbones in and shade. Put the shadows in here and the shadows in here. And boy, you're thinking, wow, that's kind of crummy looking right now, isn't it? And it is. That's because everything's built up in layers, and we don't need to get in a hurry. We just enjoy the art of it. And we'll continue to build the darks up. Here you can see how I've built the darks up. And one of the things that every human skin has in it is a green. If it's an African American, it could be a blue shade. But we use the contrasting colors to the skin. So over the eyes, there's a little green like this, right in here. And again, we continue to build up. Now, I didn't get a chance to show you how the mouth is formed, so let me show you how to make the lips. We begin with the upper lip, which is always in shadow, so it's darker. And we fill it in, and I like to use red. And we get the top lip filled in. And then we come into these dark corners, and we add more color here, color towards the rounded lower part of the lip, but the lip has light on it, so we're going to pick up the white pencil, and we're going to just start to shade and color. And as we color, you'll see that the white picks up the red and lightens it. And we get this nice round,
right on the bead, huh?
Howdy little lip. That's what we all want.
Send me some sorry lines, but passion undying, that the oceans can't subside.